Hello, friends. Welcome to Literary Concept. Today's topic is structuralism. Now, let us try to understand the one more theoretical concept that is structuralism. So, structuralism is a theoretical framework. It is a theoretical framework. Generally, structuralism means it is a way of studying things by looking at how their parts are arranged and connected. So, structuralism is just the way, okay, it is studying about how the different parts are arranged are connected. So, from that concept, so it is a theory of the framework that analyzes the cultural phenomena, that is, the cultural events. Phenomena means so the things are events, including literature, as a part of larger underlying system of structures. So that is the hidden foundations of structures, primarily, particularly language, the underlying, the basic foundations of the structures of language. So structuralism focuses more on the system of structures, that is set of structures, understand the basic foundations of structural foundations of language. So, particularly in literary studies, structuralism attempts to uncover, so that is, tries to uncover the universal structures, the common structures that underlie all text, that hidden in the all texts. The common structures, the language related structures that are hidden, underlying means that is hidden in all text, such as the narrative patterns. Okay, so it focuses on the how the narration was, how the story is told, and the binary oppositions. So that is the opposite ideas, how the opposite ideas placed, and the linguistic rules, the rules related to the language. So on these aspects, the structuralism focuses, such as the narrative patterns, how the story is told, narrated, and the binary oppositions and linguistic rules, particularly drawing heavily from the linguistics. So that is uh, studying about the language. Linguistics is a related to language. So especially from the work of Ferdinand de Saussure. So this structuralism heavily inspired from linguistics, and particularly from the work of Ferdinand de Saussure. This is the introduction of structuralism concept. Now, let us try to understand the key idea, the main idea of the structuralism. See, structuralism focuses on the literary meaning. So, here in the structuralism, literary meaning is not inherent in the text itself. So, the meaning of a text is not inherent, it is not natural in the text itself, but it is produced through system of language. So the meaning, the literary meaning is produced through the system of knowledge. So the set of parts, sorry, the system of language. So it is produced through the language system, language structures, and cultural conventions. Understand the cultural common practices. Conventions means the common practices in which the text operates, in which the text functions or works. So this is the key idea of the structuralism. So in the structuralism, the literary meaning is not natural and it is produced through the system of language and cultural conventions in which the text was produced, in which the text was created. So, this is the key idea of structuralism. Now, let us try to understand the historical background. So, the structuralism theoretical framework originated in the early 20th century, particularly with the linguistic theories of Ferdinand de Saussure. So, it was started during in the early 20th century, uh, and particularly influenced by the linguistic theories of Ferdinand de Saussure. And literary structuralism, it has got prominence during 1950s and 1970s, particularly, especially in France. So, literary structuralism uh, rose to, it has risen to prominence during 1950s and 1970s, especially in France. So, structuralism influenced a range of other disciplines also. This structuralism theory influenced other fields and disciplines, means subjects just like anthropology, linguistics, literary theory, psychology, and cultural studies. So, to all these, in all these disciplines and all these subjects, we find the influence of structuralism theory. Now, let us try to understand the core concepts of structuralism, the important concepts which are there in the structuralism theory. The first concept is the structure. So, structure means that is the underlying, the hidden system or the hidden designs that governs, that rules the different elements within a cultural or literary text. So whatever the hidden system or hidden designs which are there, which rules the different elements, okay, different parts within the cultural or literary text, that is the structure. And then the another important concept which is very important even for any competitive exam, that is the sign, signifier, and signified. The sign is made of signifier. So sign here means that is the object or thing. For example, take it book. Okay, here sign means a word of a thing, word of a object. For example, it is a book. Take it the word book, that is sign. And the signifier, okay, sign is made up of signifier. Signifier means that is the physical existence of a particular word. So that may be in as a sound or image or even a word. So that is the physical existence. So signifier here, the physical existence means the image of a book. Signifier means the image of a book. Example, we have taken book as a sign, and the image of the book is signifier, and is signified, that is the concept of the book. So that is a mental concept. When we understand, okay, whatever that we understand after hearing or reading a particular word. For example, when we hear the word book, then whatever the concept that reflects in our mind, okay, how we understand it, that is what is called signified. That is the mental concept is signified. These three, sign, signifier, and signified, are very important concept in structuralism. So therefore meaning arises from their relation. So the meaning arises depending on the relation between sign, signifier, and signified. That is the second concept, sign, signifier, and signified. And the third concept is binary opposition. Binary opposition. Binary means the pair of opposite ideas. Binary means two. Okay, that is a pair of opposite ideas. So texts are structured by opposing pairs. So texts are structured by the opposite ideas. So for example, good, evil. These are good, evil are the binary oppositions. These two words, male, female, life, death, nature, culture. So if we understand the good concept, then you understand what is evil. If you understand the male, and then you understand the differentiate the female. So the text are structured by these such kind of binary opposition words. Understand? So that is the another concept. The third concept. The next, the fourth concept is langue and parole. Langue and parole. Langue means the system of language. That is the rules of a language. Langue means the rules of a language. And parole means individual speech acts. So, which means, in a simple terms, the actual use of language in speaking or writing. So, whatever parole means, the actual use of language in speaking, while speaking or in writing. That is the actual speech of language. Understand? The actual use of language. The actual use of language is parole. So, structuralism particularly focuses on language, that is, the rules of languages. Structuralism focuses more on the rules of the languages. And the next concept is myth and archetypes. Myth. So, myth means it's a traditional story, often with symbolic meanings. Myth means it is a traditional story, so which has certain symbolic meanings. And archetypes are, it's a typical common characters of themes or symbols which we find in the society. So certain a particular typical character or a typical theme or symbols, that is archetype. So myths and narratives across cultures share common structures and archetypes. So myths, whatever the traditional stories which are there, the narrations which are there across cultures, different cultures. In different cultures, we have different myths and narratives, the narrations. They share some common structures and archetypes, that is, the common characters, the common themes, and common symbols. So, the structuralism focuses on these myth and archetypes also. And the next concept is narrative function. So, narrative function generally means, that is, the roles and purposes of events, different events in a particular story. So literature, especially folk tales and novels, especially in folk tales and novels, follows recurring narrative functions. So that is happening again and again, recurring repeatedly. Okay, repeating again and again, the narrative functions are sequences. So the order, for example, departure, quest, that is search and return. So leaving and then searching means quest, it is a journey to achieve something important, and returning back. So these are the important concepts which we see in structural theory. Now let us try to understand the methods and tools of structuralist analysis. So different methods, okay, by applying structuralism. So different tools which are there. The first method is identifying recurring patterns. So that is recognizing the repeated patterns, so designs, particularly in plot, the character types, so the repeated plots, the repeated character types, the symbols, And then the motives, that is, the motives means repeated ideas or images or themes in a particular work. Repeatedly we find these kind of, okay, the repeated storyline, the character types also repeated, and symbols, and so motives, that is repeated ideas, images, or themes in a particular work. This is the first method of structuralist analysis. And the second method, the second tool is analyzing binary oppositions. In works, analyzing the binary oppositions. For example, that is light versus dark, order versus chaos. Understand? So, such kind of binary opposition aspects we analyze in literary text. And then the third method is break down narrative structures into functions and stages. So here they're breaking down the narrative structures, the way the story is organized. So we are breaking down into functions, understand, into different roles or different events, purposes, and stages. So popularly, uh, Vladimir Prop and Todorov, they uh, okay, they use this concept of breakdown narrative structures. And next method is understanding meaning as relational. So that is understanding the meaning in a relation, understand, as a connected, no word or concept, any word or concept has meaning in isolation, so each word is depending on the other word or other concept, one concept is depending on other concept. So here in structuralist analysis we understand the meanings of a word or a concept in a relative manner in relation to other concepts or other words. So that is the fourth method. And the fifth method is applying semiotic analysis. So that is semiotic means related to signs and symbols and their meanings. So it is semiotic is about understanding signs and symbols and their meanings. So to interpret the cultural signs and codes in text. So applying this, what is that? Understanding the different signs and symbols and their meanings, and the cultural signs and the codes, the styles in a particular text. These are the different methods, the five methods and tools which uh, we apply in structuralist analysis of a work or any text. Then now let us understand the key thinkers or the key figures and their contributions. So the first thinker, the first theorist is Ferdinand de Saussure, who belongs to linguistic discipline. So he developed that semiotics concept. That is, so semiotics it is related to sign and symbols and their meanings. So semiotics, that is language as a system of signs and signifier plus signified concepts. So Ferdinand de Saussure, very very important. You have to remember for net or set examination purpose. And he also introduced the concept of synchronic and diachronic analysis. So synchronic means studying something as it exists at one particular time. So we are studying or understanding something as it exists at a one particular time, so as it is there at to that particular time, whereas diachronic is studying how something changes over a time. Diachronic is there you find a change over a time, as per the time you find there is a change, but in synchronic, as it is it exists on that particular time. So these are the concepts introduced by Ferdinand de Saussure. The next thinker is Claude Lévi-Strauss. Claude Lévi-Strauss, who belongs to anthropology discipline, anthropology subject. So he analyzed, Claude Lévi-Strauss analyzed myths and kinship using binary oppositions. So, using binary oppositions, he understood myths and kinship, relationship. Example, life, death, nature, culture. These are the examples of binary oppositions. And the next thinker, theorist is Roland Barthes. So, Roland Barthes, he belongs to literary theory. So Roland Barthes applied structuralist methods to literature and culture. So he applied this structuralist method to literature and culture. His important works, mythologies and Essenget, so and popularized the idea that text operate like language system. So Roland Barthes popularized the idea that texts generate like language systems. It operates like a language system. And the next thinker is Twiton Twiston Todorov. Twiston Todorov, so who belongs to literary theory, and he applied structuralist analysis to narrative genres. So the structuralist analysis to narrative genres, so to different categories of literature and literary discourse. Understand? And the literary ideas, different literary ideas. And the next theorist is Vladimir Prop, who belongs to folklorist discipline, and he analyzed that Russian folk tales. So Vladimir Prop analyzed Russian folk tales using 31 narrative functions, that is early narrative structure analysis. So Vladimir Prop, he analyzed Russian folk tales using 31 narrative functions. That is the roles, narrative functions means the roles and purposes of events. 31 roles and purposes of events in a story. That is early narrative structure analysis. And the last theorist is Roman Jakobson, who belongs to linguistic discipline, and he connected linguistics and poetics. Okay, the language aspects and the poetics, and key figure here, Roman Jakobson was a key figure in Russian formalism and structuralism. He was a important theorist in Russian formalism and structuralism. These are the important theories to which we find in structuralism concept, structuralism theory, and the key text in structuralist theory. So, number one, Course in General Linguistics, which was published in 1916 and authored by Ferdinand de Saussure. Okay, Course in General Linguistics, written by Ferdinand de Saussure. Mythologies, which was published in 1957. Essenget, which was published in 1970, written by Roland Barthes. And the next text is The Raw and the Cooked, which was published in 1964, written by Claude Lévi-Strauss. And the next text is Morphology of the Folk Tales, which was published in 1928, written by Vladimir Prop. And the next text is Poetics of Prose, which was published in 1971, and The Fantastic, which was published in 1970. That is Twiton Todorov, written by Twiton Todorov. And the last text is Selected Writings, which was published in 1962. That is Roman Jakobson. So these are the important texts related to structuralist theory. I hope you understood the basic concept of structuralist theory. If you find the video Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much.